Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now today we are going to have a look at the Tiger P. Yes, we're going to have another look at the Tiger P because this update, it now has tungsten shells. Yes, it has the tungsten shells. Is this tank worth using the tungsten shells with, or is it any better than the tank already was? Or is it just totally pointless? Now, those of you that have seen Droodles' video, he claims that this tank is now overpowered. Now, I wouldn't agree as such. And fair play, if he thinks it's overpowered, that's fine. Everyone has their opinion. I'm not going to sort of explain his decisions in that. Everyone has their own opinion. Now, this tank is strong. It is strong. It's always been strong, but it kind of got weaker. The tank hasn't got weaker, but it kind of feels weaker because the things around it, like the Tiger 1, had been buffed. So this has kind of been left alone, left back in the garage, because there was no point playing this tank when you have the Tiger 1. But now with the tungsten shells, it is good because it gives it an average damage of around 260, 270, which isn't so bad. Now, I tried playing this tank on stream, but I did absolutely poor. I did really poor. So, of course, the DPM is 2,400. The DPM is very good anyway, and with the tungsten shells, that will go up a bit more. Now, with the reload at 5.4 seconds, that means the tungsten shells, unlike the higher tier tanks where you're able to shoot twice with the tungsten shells, this tank you're able to shoot around 3 times, which is pretty decent. Now, I had just 3 battles in the Tiger P yesterday, so we're all 3 in a row, and we're just going to watch all 3 in a row pretty much. So yeah, I mean, yes, I would recommend running the tungsten shells. Of course I would. But the only downfall with running the tungsten shells is you're taking off a repair kit. Now, with this tank, I am always getting modules or crew damage on this tank. And when you're only running 1 repair kit, that could be quite bad. That's quite annoying, especially when the tank you're in just suffers so much with crew or module damage. But it's, in my opinion, it is worth it. It is worth taking off a repair kit and running that tungsten shells. But of course, only run the tungsten shells. Only use the tungsten shells, just like any tank that has the tungsten shell. Try only using that when you know that you're able to get 2, possibly even 3 shots off, because you don't want to waste that. You want to pump up your DPM as much as possible. So only use that tungsten shells when you know that you're able to get them shots out. Of course, if you're only able to get 2 shots out, that's still better than nothing. A lot of people will have the ability to have 1 shot, and they're going to use the tungsten shells. But I mean, if I would have pushed it here against the Helsing, we would have wasted that tungsten shells. So we're going to get 1 shot off. He's going to reload, and then we're going to push forward. And as you can see, we are pushing forward, but unfortunately, he does just back up. So that, again, I could have waited until I got here, but nevertheless, we're still going to get the shot off, and we are still going to get the kills. So we still got 2 shots off, and the 3rd one here into that thunder. So we still managed to get the 3 shots off with the tungsten shells. So yeah, I mean, it's still a decent tank. It is still a decent tank. Would I prefer running this tank now as it has the tungsten shells over the Tiger 1? Honestly, no. Honestly, no. But that is my personal opinion. I love the Tiger 1 now. When you're angled in the Tiger 1, the armor is absolutely insane. It's got great DPM, and it's got great speed as well. And unlike the Tiger P, it hasn't got that massive hatch on top. Now, as you can see about the crew and module damage, I've used my repair kit. I've still got 50 seconds left to go, and my driver's damaged. And just look how slow I'm going. And I've got to use the rest of the game like this. I've got to go the rest of the battle like this. Whereas if I had the other repair kit, I could have repaired and I could have got towards that SU much quicker. But you know, I'm not going to complain too much because it's a 1 versus 5. We're no doubt we're going to win this game. We've got 3 cap points as well. Unless a miracle happens for the SU-152, this is only going to go one way. So you can see the armor on this tank can do its job. I mean, this has always been known as the armored Tiger, whereas the usual Tiger, the normal Tiger, didn't have much armor. But over the years, it's just become a lot easier to penetrate. The front plate is quite easy. The lower plate, you've got the hatch on top. So yeah, the armor profile isn't the greatest now than it was a while ago, because people know how to deal with the tank now. Obviously, people know how to shoot hatches, people know to go for the hatches. Yeah, but it's still a decent tank, and that's what for Droodles was saying overpowered. I mean, I watched his video. It was a good video, and if you haven't watched it, of course, go and check it out. And this is what I'll pretty much say in every single video. If you're coming to me looking for an honest review of a tank, of course, I'm going to give you that honest review from my perspective. And I would always recommend going to other YouTubers, because their view might be different. Their view might be the same sort of play style as you. I might play a different play style as you. So always don't just look at watching one YouTuber and going off that opinion. Look at a few. I mean, there's plenty of YouTubers out there. Of course, Droodles is there. You got Fatness. You got a load of YouTubers out there. But of course, Droodles being pretty much one of the biggest now and one of the most active. And if you are looking for a certain tank to look at, of course, Droodles is there, and he's going to have that video of that tank. But his views are not always going to be the same as my views, and that's what I like about YouTubers. You know, I used to get, I mean, I've had a few people in the past come up to me and it's like, dude, what do you mean this tank is balanced? What the fuck? Droodles says it's overpowered. How can you think it's balanced? Because I have an opinion, and that's what I think. Everyone has their own opinion. Droodles thinks this tank's OP. I don't think it's OP. I think it's strong. Of course, I think it's strong, and with the tungsten shells, I think it is even stronger. But to go as far as saying the tank is overpowered, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe if they removed the hatch on top, yeah, overpowered. Maybe if they buffed the front plate, maybe overpowered. But right now, in the state that it's in, just adding the tungsten shells, I don't think that this tank is overpowered at all. Give it more speed. Give it the speed that the Tiger 1 has got. Overpowered. But right now, I think the tungsten shells is exactly what this tank needed, because before there was no point playing the tank, because you just might as well go play the Tiger 1, which is now, because of the armor profile, is better in every single way. So yeah, it's a good buff. It is a good buff. I honestly admit that. It was nice. It's good to see the Tiger P getting some love, and which is good, because I've always loved the Tiger P. I always loved back when they before the buffs, etc. It was always a fun tank to play. And then if you remember, Wargaming buffed the Tiger 1 and the Tiger P's DPM, and they made it like 5 seconds reload. It was crazy. This tank and the Tiger 1 were both absolutely crazy. That lasted all of one update, and then Wargaming was like, yeah, nah, we're not doing this. We're not having this. And they nerfed them again. And then, of course, more recently, they buffed the Tiger 1, and they've just left the Tiger P. So, as you can see, like, you're averaging 2.5K every single game, which is usual, the usual for the Tiger and the Tiger P, the Tiger 1 and the Tiger P. We still get some block damage there, as you can see, 1100 block damage, no problem whatsoever. So we're just going to run the last game here. Now, all 3 of these games have been in a tier 6 matchup. So of course, when you are up against tier 8s, it is going to be a lot more difficult, but that's where the tungsten shells comes in. That's where the DPM comes in. You're not going to bounce shots, no, but you will, even being a tier lower, you will be able to out DPM. Sorry about the battery. Quick, let's get this go. I've got 5%. Come on, battery, don't run out on me. So there goes the Dracula, pretty decent. And you can see we're still blocking damage. We are taking damage, but we are still blocking damage. So 1 minute in, we have now taken care of 2 tanks. Now, we have seen that there are 2 tanks around here, the VK30 and, of course, the AT7. When you are angled, of course, you can get some bounces, but when you are angling, just make sure you hide that freaking hatch, because it's so annoying. Having that massive hatch on top is annoying. And when Wargaming buffed the tank, Of course, they left it there. It does need some weak points, because if it didn't have the hatch, then of course, yeah, it would be overpowered. So you can see here we've still bounced 750 damage, which is good, because if we didn't bounce that, we would be a one-shot right now. And there is now a 6 versus 3, no problem whatsoever. There's the ARL there. I'm going to ignore the ARL now, even though he can pen me. He's got great penetration, the ARL, but you can see I'm trying to come in at an angle, and doing that is I'm going to generate some bounces. Now, the best thing about the Tiger P, the next to the gun, it looks like you can penetrate it, but the same as the Tiger, it is so frustrating because you shoot that grey area and it still bounces, which is very, very unfortunate. But when you're driving the tank, it does help massively. But again, as you can see here, just one tank left alive. We've still bounced almost 1,000 hit points, or 1,000 damage, and there's just this ARL left. Now, we're going to wait for the tungsten shells. We're going to use the tungsten shells any second now. He's only on 700 hit points, so we still want to get 1, maybe 2 shots left, but I think we're only going to get 1. And again, 2.5k damage, nice, and 1,000 blocked damage. So running the tungsten shells is definitely worth it. I definitely recommend it. Does it make a massive difference? It makes a little bit of a difference, yes. It makes the tank much better, yes. But would I say it's overpowered? No. Would I say it's worth grinding? Definitely yes. It's a much better tank than it was last update. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsyreplays, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With